everyone, welcome to InsightsByRish. In today's video, we are going to implement a project of data analysis titled as Video Game Sales Analysis. Here we are going to perform various data analysis visualization on this particular use case, and for that the data source will be this Maven Analytics. On the first page itself you will get this dataset of video game sales. I will provide the link of this in the description box. Now when you click on download, you will get a CSV file downloaded in your system, and if you want you can even preview the data. It will just show you all the columns and data that you have. So these are all the columns you will be having in the dataset. Now once you click on download, a CSV file will be downloaded in your system, and you just have to place that file in your Google Colab environment, as I have already done that. Then when you click on three bars and when you see view full details, here you have some recommended analysis questions that you can perform on this dataset, and this is what we are going to do today. We are going to solve all these questions that are mentioned here. They are slightly intricate, but we would solve all of them. Now coming back to the code, I've already loaded that CSV file here in my Google Colab environment. So we will start by importing the libraries first. So let me start by import pandas as PD. Then I will load the dataset here in the variable df. So let's say pd.readcsv. And here we will provide the path of CSV file. Now we will check the dimension of our dataset. So let's say shape. Now as you can see, this dataset consists of 64,016 rows, 14 columns. So let's display them using the head method. So this will be our dataset where we have all this 14 columns and dataset. Now one thing you can see, there are some unwanted columns like image. We don't require them because that's just a link to an image, and we aren't going to do any kind of analysis on this link of image. Hence we will drop them. So the first very important step in any data analysis project is data cleaning. First you have to clean the data, and then you can perform data analysis, data visualization on that clean data. So here we will start with a data cleaning stage. So let me write here data cleaning. So the first step will be deleting unwanted columns. The column that we don't require is this image column, and hence here we will say df.drop columns. Here we have to provide the column names that we have to drop, and the column name is image. Then we will say in place is equal to true in order to make this changes permanent. Let's run that. Now when you check the columns from the data frame, you won't find the image column now. As you can see, the column has already been deleted. Now after that, what we have to do is, after deleting that column, then we will check for null values here. So we will say checking null values. So we will say df.isNA.sum. It will give us the count of null values in every particular column. And as you can see, we have a lot of null values here in this specific columns, and we will handle them one by one depending upon their data type. So first we will check their data type here. So df.info. As you can see, this column. Now as you can see, these 6 columns are of float data type, that is numeric in nature. Then the developer column, which consists of null value, has the object data type, and here the other cells and release date, even they have object data type. But when you check the column here in release date and in last update, here you have dates. So basically you have to change their data type to date time, from object to date time. So first we will handle all the null values from the float data type. So let me write here handling null values from numeric data type. So that what we are going to do, we will require numpy here basically. So let me import numpy here. Now what we will do here, we will create a list in which we will have all the column names of float data type, like all these column names where the data type is float. We will include all that column names in that list. So here we will say numeric columns is equal to data frame name dot. Here we are going to make use of select data type method. So select data type. and here we will say include. Now what all data types here we have to include, we can specify it here. So we want to include the number data type, that is integer, float, any kind of numbers. And then here we will extract their column names and we will convert them to list. Let's run that and let us display that as well. So as you can see, these are all the column names having float data type. So first we are going to handle the null values from this particular columns. So for that we will perform imputation here. Let's say imputation, and for that we require one more library here. So let me go here and say from sklearn.impute you have to import simple imputer. Let's run that. Now here what we will do, we will just create an object of that class. Let's name it as imputer is equal to simple imputer, and here you have to specify the strategy with which you are going to fill the missing values. Now the strategy can be anything: mean, median, mode, max, minimum, anything. Basically if you select mean, that is you are going to fill the missing values from that particular column with the mean of that column. Let's consider the column critic score here. If this critic score has a null value here, that is not a number, nan value here, then basically we will take the mean of this critic score column and we will fill that mean everywhere where there is a missing value. So the strategy will be mean here. Let's say mean, and then we are going to fit this, we are going to train this, we are going to transform the numeric columns from the data frame. Numeric columns from the data frame. So we'll say df is equal to imputer dot fit underscore transform, and again we will specify the numeric columns from data frame, that is the list of numeric columns. Let's run that. Now we'll again check the count of missing values here. So let's say isNA.sum. Now as you can see, all the missing values from the float data type columns have been deleted. Next we are left with this object data type and these two date columns. Now before doing that, it's necessary to convert their data type, because by default they're having object data type, so it's necessary to convert their data type here. So let's write here converting the data type of date column, and basically we are doing that under handling the missing values from date time column. Let's run that. So what we will do, we will say here, we will specify the column name first. So df, and the column name is release date. Let's place it here. Then we will make use of toDateTime method from pandas. So we will say pd dot toDateTime, and we'll again specify the column name, which is release date from data frame df. And the same thing will also repeat for last update column, because even that consists of dates. So last update. Let's run that, and let us now check the data type of that columns, and the same thing we will also repeat for the last update column, as it also consists of date times. So let's place it here, and there's no space here. Let's run that, and let us again check the data type of these columns. Now as you can see, that columns have been converted to date time data type. This is what we wanted to do, and now we will handle the missing values from these columns. To handle the missing values, now what we are going to do, we are going to make use of fillInA method here, and we are going to fill that values with median. So we will take the median of that column, and with that median we are going to fill the missing values. So we will say df release here dot fillInA. Now we are going to fill that values with the median of this column. So just copy this column name here from data frame df and just say median, and then in place is equal to true in order to make these changes permanent. And the same thing you also have to repeat for last update column. Let's run that, and let us again check the missing values here, the count of missing values basically. Now here you can see the missing values have been handled from numeric data types and from datetime data types also. Now we are just left with this object data type. So now we just have 17 null values here, and hence we can drop them, because initially we had a huge number of null values here. So if we would have performed drop NA, then we would have lost a lot of rows and lot of data, and hence we handled all of them. But now we are just left with 17 null values from object data type column, that is developer, and hence we will drop them. So let me write here, handling missing values from object column. Like basically the data type of that column is object. Let's run that. So here we will just say df dot drop NA, and we will say in place is equal to true. Let's run that, and we will again check the count of null values to confirm that all the missing values have been handled successfully. Now as you can see, we have no missing values, so we are done with handling all the missing values from all the columns. Now after that, after this entire data cleaning stage, we can move ahead further to exploratory data analysis and to exploratory data analysis stage. So let me write here EDA, that is exploratory data analysis. Now in exploratory data analysis, what we are going to do, we are going to do the analysis that they have given us the questions for. You can see these are the recommended analysis questions, and we are going to perform the analysis for this particular questions. So the first question here is, which titles sold the most? Fine, let me go here and let me write this question. Which titles sold the most? Now when you take the look at your data frame, let me display it here itself, so that we don't have to scroll up again. Now when you take the look at your title column, here you have the various titles of video games, and you have to see that which titles sold the most worldwide. So what you have to do, you basically have to group the titles based upon its total sales. Here we have total sales column for every title. So what we will do, we will group the titles here, and for that grouping we will calculate the total sales for that particular group, and the ones having the highest sales will be the titles sold most worldwide. So the first thing that we have to perform is grouping. Let's say df group by. We will make use of this group by function. Now here we have to specify the column which we have to group by. So basically we have to group by the title column. Now based on what we have to perform grouping, based upon total sales, that we have to specify here. And as we have to take the sum, because we have to see the aggregate sales, that the total sales they have made worldwide, so we have to perform the sum aggregation here, and hence we will say sum. Let's run that. As you can see, these are the titles of various video games and the total sales made by them. Now they are messy because they aren't in the form of data frame, hence we will do here reset index. Let's run that. And now we have them in the form of data frame, but as you can see, we don't have them in particular sequence. Like we want the titles having the highest sale at the top, so what we have to perform, we have to sort them based upon their total sales. So let's save this in some variable name. Let's say sales by title. Let's run that. Now what we have to do is basically we have to order them in descending order. That when you display that here, so they aren't in some particular order, because we want the title with the highest total sales at the top. So we will perform here sort values function. So here we will say dot sort values. Now on what basis you have to sort values is on the basis of total sales. So total sales, and then you have to say ascending is equal to false, as you want the highest value of total sales on the top, hence ascending is equal to false. Let's run that. As you can see, you are getting the title having the highest sales at the top, and this is what you wanted basically. The Grand Theft Auto 5, Call of Duty, Black Ops, Call of Duty, Modern Warfare 3, these are all the titles that have made the highest sales worldwide. Now we have to plot this particular data frame. So let's save this in some variable. Let us name it sales by title sorted or sort. Let's run that. And as you know, we have a lot of sales there, and hence we will just plot the top 10 titles that have sold most the worldwide. So Here we will make use of bar plot, and we are going to make use of plotly library here for data visualization purpose, as it's very efficient one and very interactive library. So here let me say import plotly.express as px. Let's run that. Now after that, what we are going to do here, we will make use of bar plot from plotly. We'll say bar. Now here we have to provide this sales by title sort, this data frame name, and as we just want to plot it for first top 10 titles, we will just say dot head top 10. Fine. Now after that, here we will say on x-axis we want the title, and on y-axis we want the total sales. After that, we also have to give some title to our plot. So let the title be top 10 titles by worldwide sales. Let's run that. Now as you can see, here we are getting the top 10 titles by worldwide set, where the Grand Theft Auto 5 is the highest, that has made the highest sales worldwide. As you can see, the total sales is of 65. Now it isn't mentioned here explicitly what's the unit of sales, whether it's euro, pound, dollar, it isn't mentioned here, but only the numeric value we have is the Grand Theft Auto 5 has made the highest sales of 65, followed by Call of Duty Black Ops of 32, then Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 of 31. So these are the top 10 titles that have made the highest sales worldwide. So this was our first task. Now the second task here, if you see, is which year had the highest sales and has the industry grown over time. Now here you have two sub questions in this single question. The first sub question basically is which year had the highest sales, and the second sub question is has the industry grown over time. So we will solve both of that. Let's go back to code. And let me place the question here. Now as you can see, you have to plot which year had the highest sales, but when you check the date time columns that you have, there you have entire date like year, month and date, but you just have to extract the years from that column. And hence what we are going to do next is we are going to extract only the year from this release date column, and we are going to save them or store them into a new column titled as release year. So what we will do here, we will say we will add a new column in our existing data frame named as release year, and here what we are going to do, we will say pd dot to date time. Then we have to extract the year from release date column, hence we will say df release date dot dt dot year. Let's run that, and now let us display our data frame. As you can see here, now you have a new column of release year where you just have extracted the years from the release date column. You can see 2013, 2014, then 2002, 2013 and all those. You don't have the months and dates here, and this is what you wanted. After that, what we will do, the question, the first sub question we are going to solve is which year had the highest sales. And also let me add the conclusion here. So the conclusion 1 is the titles Grand Theft Auto 5, then the Call of Duty Black Ops and Call of Duty Modern Warfare had the highest sales worldwide. This was our first conclusion. Now coming to the second part, we are just solving this first sub question of which year had the highest sales. Later we will solve this other sub question. So first we are focusing on which year had the highest sales, and for that we extracted the year from the release date column. Now what we will do here is we will group by this release year based upon total sales, as we have to find the total highest sales made by in a particular year, and we will perform grouping here. We will say df dot group by. Now what you have to group by here, you basically have to group by the release year, And on what basis you have to group by that? On the basis of total sales made by in a particular year. So total sales, and then you will take the sum, that is the total sales made by in particular year. And as you can see, it's giving you the release year and the total sales made in that particular year. Now we will just perform reset index here in order to display it in a data frame type. So as you can see, it's giving you the data frame now, and even here the same thing is happening that happened previously, that we aren't getting the highest sales on the top. We want the release year having the highest sales at the top, and for that we have to perform sorting again. So here we will say, let's store that in a variable named as sales by year, and then what we will do, we will just say here dot sort values. Now on what basis you have to sort is on the basis of total sales, and ascending is equal to false, as you want the value, that is the total sales, highest total sales, to be displayed on the top. Hence ascending is false. Let's run that, and as you can see now, it's giving you the year having the highest sales at the top. This is what you wanted basically. Let's store that in a variable so that we can use that for plotting. So sales by year sort. Let's run that, and now again we will plot the highest top 10 years in which the highest sales have happened. So here we will again make use of bar plot. We will say px dot bar. Here we will pass our sales by year sort data frame, and we will say head 10, as we just want to extract the topmost 10 years that made the highest sales. Then on x-axis you will be having the years, that is release year, and on y-axis you will be having the total sales. And let's give the title here. The title will be top 10 years by worldwide sales. So worldwide sales. Let's run that. And as you can see, it's giving you the top 10 years having made the highest sales. So here you can see 2008 is the year in which the highest sales have happened of around 3429.537, followed by the year 2009. So this second conclusion here is conclusion 2.1, as this is a sub question of the second question. So the conclusion here is the year 2008 has made the highest sales worldwide, followed by the year 2009. So this was the conclusion of this particular sub question, that the year 2008 has made the highest sales worldwide, and followed by the year 2009 and then 2010. Now after that, the second other sub question here was, has the industry grown over time or not? And for that we have to plot a line chart here. So for that other sub question we will make use of line plot, and it's asking that whether the industry has grown over time or not. And what we will do, we will plot the line plot, and we will see if there is an uptrend, then we will say that the industry has grown, and if there is a downtrend, then we will say the industry has degraded. But if there is a constant line, then we can say that the industry has neither grown nor degraded. So now what we will do, we will make use of this sales by year data frame, and we don't want any sorted sales here, and hence we are not going to make use of this variable, but we are going to make use of this sales by year variable here. So we'll just say px dot line. Here we will pass this variable. Then on x-axis you will have the release year, and on y-axis you will have the total sales. Then let me also give the title to this plot as global sales. Trend over years. Let's run that. And this is your line plot. As you can see, there is a sharp uptrend or the sharp increase in the year 2008, and you can also see in the previous plot that the highest sales was made in the year 2008, followed by 2009, and also by this previous year of 2007. So the same thing we can even see in this line plot as well, that in 2008, when you hover upon the plot, you can see the year, release year 2008, the highest sales made in that particular year. So the conclusion is, right now the industry isn't making any progress or any uptrends, nor the industry is growing right now, but the industry grew very high, very drastically high in the year 2008, like somewhere around the year 2008 we can say. So the conclusion here for your second sub question, that is conclusion 2.2, is the industry grown around year 2008, but currently the progress is constant. So this was the second conclusion for the second sub question, that is, has the industry grown over time? Yes, the industry grown somewhere around the year 2008, but after that again there's a downtrend, and even right now the progress is constant. So that was the answer for the second sub question. Now the third question here for analysis is, do any consoles seem to specialize in a particular genre? So let's copy that, and this is our third sub question. So the third sub question is, do any consoles seem to specialize in particular genre? Now by that what we mean is, we have these various consoles here. If you take the look at this data set, here you have the consoles column, and even you have the genre column here consecutively after the console column. So you have to see that whether any particular console is having highest sales in multiple genres or not. So what you will do here, you will just perform group by first. You will say df dot group by. Then now you have to group by based on the console and the genre. Hence you will provide the list of columns here like console and genre, and then you are going to group them based upon total sales. So total sales, then you will take the sum of that. Let's run that, and as you can see, it's giving you the console, then the genre, and this all genres like action, adventure, fighting, this all genres here belong to this single console, followed by this all genres to this single console. Then all the sales made by that particular genre under that particular console. So let's perform reset indexing here to display that in a data frame format. So reset index, the same thing, it's again giving us in data frame format. As you can see, this all genres belong to a single console. Now if you see here, even here we don't have the highest, that is the total sales made by a particular genre and console on the top, and hence we have to again perform sorting of values here. So let's store that in a variable called as console genre sales. After that what we will do, we will just perform sorting here on this particular data frame. We will say sort values. Then on what basis we have to sort? On the basis of total sales, and we have to display the total sales, that is the highest total sales on the top, and hence ascending is equal to false. Let's run that. Now as you can see, the highest total sales are displayed on the top. So as you can see, the console PC is making a great specialization in all those genres of adventure, strategy, misc and role playing with the highest total sales, and the same thing we are going to plot. Hence we will store this in some variable. Let's say console genre sales sorted. Let's run that, and now we are going to make use of sunburst plot for doing that, as the sunburst plot shows a lot of information in a single plot. And here we will say px dot sunburst, then we will pass this console genre sales sort, this data frame here. Then we will give the path here. By path what I mean is, in the inner circle you want the console data, and in the outer circle you want the genre data. That's the path. In the inner circle we will be having the console data, and in the outer circle we will be having the genre data. Then values. Now values here will be total sales. That's the value here based upon which we are basically analyzing the data. And then let me give the title here. The title here is console specialization in genre. Let's run that. So this is our sunburst plot, and as you can see, this lavender part, this lavender portion in the entire sunburst plot is having the maximum proportion, I would say, which means the PC console has making the highest sales, and it has a specialization in all these genres of adventure, strategy, role playing, action, shooter, all these things. So the conclusion to this third plot here is, let me write the conclusion here. And the question to this was, do any consoles seem to specialize in a particular genre? Yes, the console PC do seem to specialize in the adventure genre. So let me write it here. The console, or you can say the PC consoles, do specialize in genre adventure, followed by the genre strategy, and the genre MISC. So the answer to the question, like whether any console is making any specialization in the particular genre, yes, the PC console is making specialization in the adventure, strategy, and MISC genre. So that was the analysis that we made from the sunburst plot. After that, the last question here for the analysis is, what titles are popular in one region but flop in another region? Now this is a more complicated one. So let me just say here, fourth question is, so what titles are popular in one region but flop in another region? And for that, what we are going to do here, let me display the data frame once, because here we are going to make use of different columns. Actually, head. Here you can see you have these three columns here: NA sales, JP sales, and PAL sales. Now what are these? We are going to make use of these three columns here. Now NA stands for North America. Let me write it here, that NA stands for North America. Then JP stands for Japan, and then PAL regions. There are various regions, various countries coming under that. So PAL basically stands for phase alternating line, and this includes the regions like Europe, then Australia, then New Zealand, and some other countries. So this three columns we have, that the total sales made in the North America region, then the sales made in Japan region, and the sales made in PAL region. That is this PAL, as I said, it stands for phase alternating line, and it includes various regions like Europe, Australia, New Zealand, and even some other countries as well. So what we have to do, first we have to add new columns in this data set of the ratio, that is the sales made in North America, the ratio of that for every year, then the sales made for the Japan every year, and the sales made for PAL region every year. So what we will do here, we will say first column that we are going to add is the ratio for North America, and here we will say DF, the sales made in North America for that particular instance, divided by the total sales. By that, what we mean is, like, if you take the look at the first instance, in the first instance you have the sales in North America as 6.37 and the total sales made 20.32. so what we are basically doing, we are dividing the 6.37 by 20.32, and whatever the answer is, that will be the ratio of total sales in North America for that particular instance. And the same thing we will again repeat for the Japan and PAL region as well. So here it will be Japan, and then here it will be PAL. Let's run that, and let us display our data frame again, just the first three rows. So as you can see, these three new columns of NA ratio, JP ratio, and PAL ratio have been added in this data frame, and now we are going to make use of these columns for solve this particular question. As you can see, for the first instance, as I said previously, 6.37 divided by 20.32, the answer that we are getting is 0.31, and that's the ratio for North America for that particular instance. For Japan, for the first instance, and for the Japan ratio column, it will be the total sales made by Japan, that is 0.99 divided by total sales, that is 20.32, and the answer is 0.04. That's the ratio of sales made by Japan for that particular instance, and same for PL region. Now what we will do here, first we will say NA popular. By that what we are saying is, let me write the text here. This is the fourth question, so this is 4.1. So first we are finding the titles that are popular in North America but flop in Japan and PAL regions. So for the first sub question, what we are doing is we are finding the titles that are popular in North America region but they are going flop in Japan and PAL regions like Europe, Australia, New Zealand and some other countries. So because they are asking us to find all the titles that are popular in one region and flop in other, but we have 3 regions here, so we have to find for every region that the popular title in that and the flop in other 2. So the first for North America is, so what we are going to do here, we have the ratios, as you can see, the NA ratio, JP ratio and PL ratio. So first, when you are finding the popular titles for North America, you will say that you want the NA ratio, that is the ratio of sales in North America, greater than 0.8 and lower than 0.2 for other 2 categories like Japan and PL. So let's say here DF, and here we will say DF dot NA ratio. So NA ratio should be greater than 0.8 as that's for popularity, and DF dot JP ratio. Now this would be less than 0.2 as that's for seeing flop, and again DF dot PL ratio, that again should be lower than 0.2 as it's again for finding the flop. And let's run that. Let us see the NA popular here. It's actually PL ratio, and let me display it here. So as you can see, it's giving you the instances where the NA ratio is greater than 0.8. As you can see, this all instances, the NA ratio is greater than 0.8 and the JP and PL ratio lower than 0.2, as you can see. So this means that all these instances or all these titles that we have here are popular in North America, but they are going flop in Japan and PL region. So we are just going to plot that using bar plot. So here we will say px dot bar. Then we will pass this NA popular here, and we will just see the 5 most popular titles in North America and that are going flop in other 2. So we will just say dot head 5, because there will be multiple titles. If you see here the total count, we have total 454 rows here. So if we don't do this, then it will display all the titles that are popular in North America and flop in others, but we will just check the top 5. So here we will say, after this, on X we want the title, and on Y we want all this. First we want the North America sales, then the Japan sales, and then the PAL sales. And let me also give the title here. The title will be 5 most popular titles in North America but flop in Japan and PL. Let's run that. Okay, it's actually JP, not JAP. And as you can see, here we are getting this bar graphs. Now this lavender proportion, as you can see, there are also the legends specified here. That is, the lavender portion is for sales in North America, the orange, or you can say the red portion, is for the sales in Japan, and the green portion is for the sales in PAL region. So wherever, so this 5 titles like Madden NFL 2004, Madden NFL 06, Madden NFL 2005, Asteroids, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, this all 5 titles are popular in North America, but they are doing flop in Japan and PAL region. So the conclusion here would be very easy. Conclusion 4.1 would be the titles Madden NFL 2004 I will just specify the first three titles here. Then the Madden NFL 06 and Madden NFL 2005 are popular in North America but flopped in Japan and PAL regions. So this was the conclusion for first sub question, that is the titles that are popular in North America but flop in Japan and PL regions. So these 5 titles, as you can see, the highest proportion is for lavender color. These 5 titles are very popular in North America but they are flop in Japan and PL regions. So the second sub question here, let me copy it from here. The second sub question here, 4.2, is titles that are popular in Japan but flop in North America and PL regions. So for that we will again do the same thing whatever we did here. Just let me copy that and we will name it JP popular. Now we are finding the titles that are popular in Japan. So JP popular, and here we want the ratio of JP greater than 0.8 because we are finding the popular titles for Japan, and the ratio of North America should be lower than 0.2. Everything else remains same. Let's run that, and again we will plot the same thing whatever we did here. Just we will replace that NA popular with a JP popular here. Let's run that. Also let me change the title here in JP but flop in North America. So as you can see here, now the red portion is greater in this particular bar graph, that is this particular 5 titles like Hot Shots Golf, RBI Baseball, Famous 89, then Dragon Quest 11, Super Puyo Puyo. All these titles are popular in Japan but they are going flop in North America and PL regions. So the second conclusion is, let me write conclusion 4.2, that is the titles. Again I will mention only the first 3 titles, you can mention all. So Hot Shots Golf, then RBI Baseball and Famous 89 are popular in Japan but flop in North America and PL regions. So this was the conclusion to second sub questions, that these 5 titles are popular in Japan but they are going flop in North America and PL region. And the third and last sub question that we have here, let me just copy it from here. The last sub question that we have here, that is 4.3. Here we have to find the titles that are popular in PL regions, that is Australia, New Zealand, Europe and all other countries, but they are going flop in North America and Japan. So this is our last sub question. And for that again we will copy the same thing whatever we did here, and here we will say PAL popular. Now here we want the ratio of PAL greater than 0.8 as we are finding the popularity for that particular region, and the ratio of North America lower than 0.2 and the ratio of Japan lower than 0.2. Let's run that, and again we will plot the same thing whatever we did here. So let me say here PAL popular, and here I will say 5 most popular titles in PAL but flop in NA, that is North America and Japan. Let's run that. As you can see, the green proportion is higher in this bar graphs, which means this all 5 titles, the Sims 3, Collins MC Ray Rally, Anno 2070, Toka 2 Touring Car Championship, Brian Lara Cricket, all these 5 titles are doing really very good, that is they are very popular in PAL regions but they are flop in North America and Japan. So this was the conclusion to the third and last sub question. So conclusion 4.3, and this is the titles. The first title is The Sims 3, then Colin MC Ray Rally and Anno 2070 are very popular in PAL regions but flop in North America and Japan. So this all 3 were the plots for a single question that was titles that are popular in one region but flop in other, that is this particular title. Because as we had 3 different regions here for North America, Japan and PL. We plotted 3 different plots. One where the titles are popular in North America but flop in other 2, then one where the titles are popular in Japan but flop in other 2, and last where the titles are popular in PL regions and flop in other 2. So as you can see, we did the analysis for all these recommended analysis questions. We solved all of them. In the second question we have 2 sub questions, and in the last question we had 3 sub questions. So we solved all of them. I will provide the link of this dataset in the description box. Do check that. And that's it for the video. Thanks for watching.